Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
Imagine being able to stream every curling game from every sheet from any event, be it your Wednesday league game, bonspiel, or corporate event. Curling Stadium offers an all-inclusive streaming solution featuring high-quality cameras, ease of use, great reliability, and minimal installation. Offering your sponsors customizable ad space on your streamed curling games and being able to sell video packages to your corporate events for increased revenue. With Curling Stadium, you can stream to any device, be it your mobile phone, tablet, or computer. Push the feed to your desired platform, be it Facebook, YouTube, or any other social media. Curling Stadium is simply the way forward. Where it's commonplace in other sports to televise every game, we want to do the same. Curling is a global sport, and it's time it gets the coverage it needs. Make your curling club the next Curling Stadium.
What you got? You got one, you got two, you got...
Just one more throw, please.
You make moments like these possible.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
Handcrafted in Canada, Hardline's Ice Pad has revolutionized curling for over a decade. Engineered with top-tier precision and durability, it is backed by an unmatched 10-year warranty. Designed for curlers at all levels to sweep effortlessly with maximum efficiency, it is trusted by the world's best curlers, including Olympic and world champions. It is quite simply the best broom in the game. Hardline. Join the revolution.
Curling Alberta's 50-50 supports grassroots curling with a jackpot of at least $100,000. I know! Brace yourself. Join us aged 18 plus in nurturing these future curling stars. Support grassroots curling with Curling Alberta.
Test, test, test.
This is literally what is going on.
You're good to go.
Good afternoon and welcome to the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championships in Leduc, Alberta, and you are watching through Curling Stadium Live. Handshakes have been well underway. We are already into Skips Rocks here in the first end of our championship play, draw number 1. And we have a game for you today as we start off our week-long journey to naming our U18 provincial champion here in Alberta. My name is Evan Asmussen, and I'm joined by Abby Whitbread and Haley Adams as we have first game action here for you between Team Caleb Hofstra and Team Evan Clark. Ladies, welcome. You are on site. We've already been able to watch the first end so far, and rocks are in play. And my goodness, these teams are just right ready to go.
Yes, for sure. Right away, we've seen some great action. I'm excited to see what this gives us now.
Now, I know many of our viewers have already been watching since the start and probably since the practice, and so have we as we've been waiting to get connected to our game today. But let's go through our team. Let's introduce ourselves to the members that we're going to be watching here for the next few ends and for the next couple of hours. And let's take it away here. Throwing the red stones here with Team Hofstra is lead Griffin Williams, second Connor Barkley, third Timothy Lawrence, and skip Caleb Hofstra, coach Ron Delmage, and they are out of the Leduc Curling Club. And throwing the yellow stones today for Team Clark is lead Rowan Fougere, second Spencer Orchak, third Daniel Waller, and skip Evan Clark with coach Jim Lautner, and they're representing the North Hill Curling Club. Now, to start our game off today, it was Hofstra with the hammer after a pre-game practice and a last stone draw to the button. And the ice conditions do look a little tricky for this first draw. Many of these teams did have a pre-event and a pre-game practice. However, it does look like some of these teams are still warming up to the ice conditions so far. Now, Abby and Haley, you are on site, and I know that you are watching both live and in person. What have you noticed about our play so far in this first end as Team Hofstra and Team Clark are getting ready to set their week up and get themselves established here in the first end of this game?
Seems to me from what we can see, game on. We have already some pretty tough draws, some cards, and it's a pretty good game here.
Now, for those of us who are just tuning in, or for those of our viewers who are just turning in, our game didn't start off as the old cliche hit it out for the first end or so. Team Clark went right to bat against Team Hofstra and threw up the center line guard. And after a few errors and a few makes, this is the position that we're at right now, with Team Clark sitting just back four and Team Hofstra trying to attempt to make the draw for their single point, and they have. We're going to kick those stones away. We're going to head off into the second end here. Team Hofstra is up 1-0 over Team Clark. We welcome you back to second end action here in draw number 1 of the 2025 Curling Alberta Optimist U18 Provincial Championship here in Leduc, Alberta. You are watching through Curling Stadium live at your cozy homes here in our new year. I'm joined today by Abby Whitbread and Haley Adams on site, and already today our game has been very intense with tons of rocks in play here between Team Hofstra and Team Clark. Going up on the board, Team Hofstra making a beautiful draw. Caleb there in the first end to score his 1 point. We're beginning the second end here with Team Clark having the hammer and the last stone advantage. Now, for those of our members and viewers who are unfamiliar with the play here and the format of this event, both on the men's and ladies' side of this U18 championship, it is an 8-team round robin with a 14-page playoff process. So all of these teams will be vying for every win and for every opportunity to stay at the top of the leaderboard, as their only way into the championship event and the championship process is to capture one of those top 4 spots. So unlike the first end here, where the rocks were put right to the test, we have a little bit more of an open play, trying to figure out the sheet. Abby and Haley, you are guests to Leduc and guests to this surface here. You've played a ton across our province. What are some of the key characteristics of the event and the venue that our athletes in Team Clark and Team Hofstra are going to experience as they try to figure out the Leduc Curling Club and take some of the advantages into this game and into the future games throughout the week?
Yeah, it's looking like the ice is pretty fast here and getting a fair bit of curl, so that's definitely something to adjust to.
And that's a really good point that you brought up too, as well, is that different clubs across our province obviously have different characteristics, and Leduc is one of our larger centers too, and a lot of these athletes would have had the opportunity to play not only in a couple of bonspiels throughout the winter so far, but also the Leduc Curling Club is the host to the Curling Alberta Rocks Camp, which many of these members here and these athletes here have participated in. Recognizing a few of these faces out on the sheet today. And so they've had an opportunity to see Leduc throughout the year and be able to play on this surface. But of course, we know that going back and forth between their own home clubs and different clubs across the province, the conditions change, and they change from every time that you end up on the ice. Will that pose a challenge for some of these teams, Abby and Haley?
Yes, for sure it is tough to adjust to all of their ice conditions, but hopefully with the pregame practice, and it is important to keep, or what we like to do is to keep some of the first ends clean and just to get to know the ice conditions, and that should hopefully help the rest of your competition.
A wonderful draw attempt here by Team Clark as they were just trying to sink one and capture a little bit of the forefoot, but came up just a little bit short. And we'll look to see Team Hofstra try to make that hit and roll underneath. Now, weight choice is going to be a really important management process here for all the teams at the U18 Championship, especially on ice that is potentially curling a little bit more early on in the stages of this event, or as they're getting to learn a little bit more about the sheet. We might see some tendencies to keep the weight up a little bit and to make sure that they make that main objective of actually hitting the stone and removing it out of play. And then as they get a little bit more comfortable, as the ice seems to wear down a little bit and as they play a little bit longer on the sheet, that they will start to learn some of the nuances and how to make those shots. Just ticks the guard here, promotes their rock into play, but exposes their rock there at the top of the 8 foot. Evan is asking Spencer to make this hit and roll here. A very precise shot. You want to keep the shooter around. Now you'll notice that Rowan is the only sweeper at this time trying to keep it straight there. He is the inside sweeper. Very good sweep by Rowan himself to keep that at the nose and to make sure that it didn't touch that yellow and kind of do a little round the horn ricochet off the side. A complicated double here for Team Clark, specifically in where that shooter might end up. If they seem to chase the double, it looks like they might end up setting a double back up for Team Clark. And it just takes a little bit of an over curl. Not the desired outcome, but nonetheless not a bad plan B as Team Hofstra rolls just in front of that yellow one, but stays on the center line there. Complicating the end for Team Clark as they do have the hammer to set up a potential deuce. Team Clark is electing to hit the rock on the outside here and roll in, but just gets to the nose. Yellow is still shot rock. Now, Haley and Abby, going back to our conversation about understanding the ice, Team Hofstra's home club is Leduc Curling Club. And as we were watching pregame practice, they seem to be very comfortable here, and they already are taking advantage of a lot of the shots. And do you think them being the one of the home club teams is impacting the way that they started this game with more rocks in play?
I definitely think being the home club team makes them a lot more comfortable for sure, and knowing what to expect is definitely an advantage.
I like that you said that too, knowing what to expect. I think when it comes to any championship, there's always going to be the things that happen out of the blue or spontaneously happen. But we also know too as well that a lot of our athletes here competing, not only are they the best at their age group, but many of them are playing across different age groups too as well. And so many of our athletes at this championship are still developing. And so there are going to be those potential, I'm not going to call them mishaps, but those fortunate little wicks and ticks that do change the complexity of the end or do bring in a little bit of the unknown or luck to the game too as well. And then you combine that with still learning the ice surface and still taking advantage of trying to figure out paths. These first couple of ends, if not tread carefully, can result in some early leads.
For sure, and you can definitely tell that those first few ends are definitely when a lot of teams score those big ends and take an early lead.
Now we're into, I believe, skips stones here. Nope, thirds first, second. There we go. And Caleb just missing that rock on the wide side here. Trying to limit the potential scoring opportunity for Team Clark. Team Clark is going to have the opportunity to split the rings here and to make it a little bit more challenging for Team Hofstra to remove 2 rocks to limit the score. I'm just trying to take a look at where Evan is putting this broom down, as that's going to be a good indicator of how much curl they're expecting to get over to the side of the 12-foot side of the 8-foot. So ideally, Haley and Abby, where do we want this rock to go for Evan to make sure that he has the best opportunity to take advantage of a big score here?
For sure, splitting the rings here is awesome, making sure we're not leaving any doubles. That would be an ideal position to score a deuce or even a 3 here. In addition, I'll be leaving it higher in the rings, to make sure no hit release.
And I think that sentiment of leaving it up higher and trying to make it level with those other ones in the rings caught them a little bit by surprise in that new path there, as Evan comes up just short of the rings. Still sitting 2 rocks and 2 scoring potentials here in the house, but a missed opportunity at that. It's a peak double for Caleb, and I don't think he's taking it on. It looks like he's maybe trying to hit and roll or hit and stick to make a little bit more of a difficult score of 2 for Team Clark. And just cleaning it to the face of the stone. Red is sitting 1 shot stone, and yellow is sitting right over there off to the side. Second shot. This is an opportunity for Team Clark to hit and stick or hit and roll right into the rings there. Score their 2 points and take an early lead here in the second end. These center lines can be a little bit tricky though, and this is something that Daniel is definitely going to have to watch as he's the line caller there in the house. As that rock starts to approach the center line, as they don't get a lot of wear in the pregame practice. And so sometimes that center line can be a little bit sharp and rocks tend to curl over it a little bit. But calling the curl sweep here with Rowan, looks like it rolls to the top of the 12-foot, and Team Clark is going to score 2 points and take an early lead, 2-1 here in the second end. We'll be back with you live in Leduc, Alberta, here through Curling Stadium.
Hey Ben, what's the Aztec Safety online e-learning website again?
Yeah, that would be aztecsafety.com.
Fire extinguisher and firefighting, we'll send that one to Paul.
Ah, now here's a course I should probably take. Conflict resolution.
Power line safety. Yeah, I thought it might help me with my line calls. Did you know this Aztec website has over 100 safety courses?
Jeez. Aztec Safety online course. Ground disturbance. Could have used that a few seconds ago.
And just like that, the teams have settled in, we have settled in, and we are back in the third end here at the 2025 Optimist U18 Provincial Championships, brought to you by Curling Alberta and Curling Stadium in Leduc, Alberta. And starting off the third end here for Team Clark is Rowan Fougere. Wonderful young athlete, very ambitious, very great student of the game. And so far, having a really strong start to this championship event. And I think Abby and Haley, that's probably the most important part when it comes to these events, especially as a young developing athlete like both of you are, and both of you were in these positions before, having a really great start really sets the tone for the event.
For sure, provincial weeks are long, and it's a marathon, and it's really important to get that confidence up right away to ensure you keep that going for the whole week.
What I appreciate about both of these teams, and what I appreciate the most about both of these teams, is that they're taking huge risks early. And not to say that the risks in the shots are low reward or high reward, but they're really taking an opportunity to map out the sheet, to get a full understanding, to gather some information quickly. And though they have made a few errors as they've been trying to map out the sheet, they've been able to rebound and to get to the end back on track for themselves. And I think that's really bold, especially when you're looking at the first draw. We might see some teams come in, approach it tentatively, have kind of a slow motion to learn about the sheet, to learn about the rocks as they're absorbing the rest of the event and their opposition too as well. But both Team Clark and Team Hofstra have really set out, as it seems, to really capture what the sheet is trying to tell them and trying to gather that information so that they're able to translate it across the event and across the sheets that they're going to play for the rest of the week. Now, just a small error there for Griffin Williams. Sorry, for Rowan Fougere, as he was attempting to hit the red rock out in the side of the house there. So an early opportunity here for Team Hofstra to sit 2 and to have quite the separation across the rings. Line looks good. And just a nice, clean, wonderful shot by Griffin Williams. Now you see Evan tap his shoulder there as he's trying to figure out what kind of weight choice is the best, and he's electing to throw a peel weight type shot here with Spencer to have a little bit more momentum as that rock tries to cross the center line and get a little bit closer to set up a double opportunity for later on in the end. A great outcome for Spencer there, hitting that rock on the nose and bringing that rock right up to the tee line there, that one rock higher. Caleb's going to have to make sure that he gets a little bit of a roll to create not only a little bit more distance, but also to lessen that angle of the double and try to make it a little bit more unnatural for Team Clark so that he can maintain that opportunity to score 2. See, Abby and Haley, this is where it gets a little bit tricky too as well, because those hit and rolls are so difficult to manage, and we just see another nose hit along the center line there. But those rolls are really hard to manage, especially when you're trying to map out the sheet early on in an event. But just in general, what are some of the key tools and techniques some of these teams might capture to try to make those rolls more consistently?
For sure, yeah, especially early in the ends here. It's tricky to get that line down, but definitely using your sweepers is a big key to making those hit and rolls.
For sure, in addition to choosing to play a manageable weight, so you can use those sweepers, it is also important.
So we'll see there Team Clark taking the opportunity to try to make that roll, but just rolling out, giving Team Hofstra a free draw opportunity to the side of the house here to split the rings and even create more separation to secure that deuce for the end. And it looks like it's running a little bit heavy and just holds on at the back there. My goodness, young eyes. Now, what I do like about that, though, Abby and Haley, is that it changes the double attempt now. So there was an opportunity for it to, of course, be even and have no double, but to bring it a little bit back, and of course, maybe that was by accident or by surprise, it changes the double look and it makes Team Clark have to go and throw off the outside there, which can be a little bit more challenging too in the early ends.
For sure, always making sure to change that angle so it goes against the wall is also a big thing.
Now, most of these teams would also know too as well in their training and in their practicing, but it's not only about them mapping out the sheet and them learning about what the conditions are doing, but they're also trying to gather information on their opposition as they might see them again later on at the end of the week in trying to figure out what types of shots they're going to be successful or least successful with, especially looking towards the end of the game here and trying to figure out what they want to leave that skip with as a more difficult shot or a higher risk shot. But there's definitely a reward in taking advantage of playing across the sheet early on as you get to see your opposition also play the sheet. You can start to think about what kinds of shots you want to leave them based upon their own skills and techniques.
For sure. And also playing these teams all season, building up to this, you start to learn a bit more about every team. So using that to your advantage can definitely help.
And what you're going to notice too, as well, for our viewers and for the people watching too, is that with the U20 and the U18 aspect, we have our, I guess, our coaches at this event. We have our coaches being accessible on the ice and able to be out there and to be a part of the conversations with some restrictions, of course, but to be out there and to be alongside their team and to be able to scoop up that in action, that live action information too, so that they can better support their team not only mid play, but as they come off the ice too as well and debrief the game and then get prepared for their next one. It's a really big part of the developmental process, but it's also a huge advantage for our young developing athletes to be able to capture most of the game when they're also trying to manage the athleticism and the tactical side of it too. So we're looking at a blank house here so far after a bunch of attempts at doubles and keeping the rocks in at the back of the house. It looks like Team Clark is going to try to split the rings up here and make a blank attempt a little bit more difficult for Team Hofstra. And that's hard, Abby and Haley. You know, when you have that house split, you have your two kind of secured cross house early on, it's really hard to maintain it for all 16 rocks.
For sure, yeah. That lead setup is super important and maintaining it through the whole end. It's super vital to securing that deuce.
And that's also a part of the tactics too as well of both of these teams. They would have to make that decision early on as if they were going to split the house and try to maintain the deuce and try to eliminate the opportunity for a double and for them to shift into a blank attempt, or if they're going to change their tactics and throw up another guard and try to secure their deuce that way, leaving open a rock off in the rings. So it's a great opportunity for us and for our viewers at home to see the style of play of both of these teams. And they might consider both these teams moving forward after this end, what type of end they might try to set up as they try to score their deuce. So Caleb here with the hit and stick. Just rolls out. leaving Team Clark another opportunity at a free draw here to put that rock in a more, I guess, tricky position and to make that blank even more difficult. Now I see Evan is putting the broom back to go over to the same side that Caleb just made the hit and roll out on, which is essentially what Caleb's going to try to do next next rock to blank the end. I might think that they would change the turn here and maybe put the rock in the other side. However, it does look like they're maybe looking at a jam potential on that back red. So trying to take the sweep curl now to get that yellow rock in position right in front of the red stone there. Bringing it deeper and deeper for a jam opportunity. Good shot by Evan Clark. Great sweep team. But it does leave the same look for Caleb Hofstra as he just had with the previous stone. So all he has to do is replicate that to get his blank. What I really like about Caleb and Timothy and their conversation here is they're really methodical about where they're putting this broom down. Recognizing that you don't need to overthrow this to make the blank, but definitely putting the broom in a position where they're not going to throw the stone away, meaning that if Caleb hits the broom square on, the rock will always make contact with the side of the yellow rock. And just like that, no problems. A blank end here for Team Hofstra, and Team Clark still maintains the lead at 2-1 with Team Hofstra going into the fourth end. We'll catch you back here on Curling Stadium in Leduc.
I don't remember a time when curling wasn't a part of my life. When I wasn't putting in the sweat and hard work to be the best that I can be. Clocking in the time, the effort to practice day in, day out. Curling is more than just a game. It's a family, a community. And when it's time to play, I know I'll be ready. Hardline, supporting hundreds of our next generation athletes.
So you're a pizza person, but you're married to a wing person, and your kids are salad people? You can't pick your fam, but with over 50 menu items to choose from, you can make them all happy. Order today and enjoy Boston Pizza at home.
And we're back from a quick commercial break here on Curling Stadium, live in Leduc, Alberta at the U18 Curling Alberta Provincial Championships. We've got a 2-1 lead for Team Clark over Team Hofstra in our first draw of championship curling here in the new year. Ladies, Happy New Year, by the way. How have you started your 2025 year so far, other than spending it online here with us, commentating this wonderful event?
Just been spending just starting and resting up for curling season picks up again. What about you, Abby?
Yeah, same goes for me. School's starting next week. We're enjoying the last few days here of winter break.
You know, and that's one thing that's a little bit more challenging, or something to consider about this competition, is that it has happened here at the end of many of these athletes' winter break, as many of them are still in school. It's a U18 championship, so most of them are in the high school or in the younger grades there, around the junior high or high school age. And this would be the latter part of their winter break, and it might even pose some challenges getting prepared here for the week. Now we're starting off again with a little bit of a cleaner end as Rowan puts his first rock into the rings there, trying to entice Caleb with Griffin to set up some kind of start to the fourth end here. But they were electing to hit the open stone, made a beautiful hit and roll. And now we have Rowan trying to remove that rock out of play, hits and rolls out. And we're taking another look at an open house so far. Now, Abby and Haley, it is the fourth end, and when we're thinking about not only the score right now, but we're thinking about the whole game and that light at the end of the tunnel, those even ends do seem to matter a little bit.
For sure, having hammer in those even ends is pretty important and a big advantage for coming home in that eighth end. Being up or even tie game with hammer is a major advantage.
Now, of course, Team Hofstra and Caleb do have the hammer here, but they are down 1 point here at basically what we'll call the halfway mark of our game so far. And he is electing to throw the corner guard, but it does seem like he recognizes that he's going to have to try to capture a deuce here, not only to pull ahead on the scoreboard, but also to get within reach of Team Clark and to keep this game in their favor with the even ends. Now, Evan's electing to draw to the open side here. And one tactic might also be to choke off that corner guard too as well. And just get half buried behind that corner guard so that there is not an opportunity for Team Hofstra to get behind it or to make it more complicated. Going to open side here like he did is obviously a great opportunity to split the rings and to keep their rock and the opposition stone away from that corner guard, but you do have to be precise as Spencer comes up a little bit light there, creating two corner guards, and now has Team Hofstra licking his lips as there is a really nice setup for a deuce to be scored. And you know, Abby and Haley, that's really a conversation about the tolerance too as well of a shot. We're into the fourth end already. These teams should have a very good sense of the paths and what kind of speed they need to be throwing in each direction and down each path throughout the sheet. But that tolerance conversation is a big important part of the game. And for those of you watching who don't know that tolerance or what tolerance means, it's that range or that small window of where rocks can be in the position to an ideal position versus an okay position versus it absolutely cannot be here. Not only is it a more positive way to have a conversation about what is a make and a miss, but a tolerance gives our throwers an opportunity to have a conversation about range, and our sweepers an opportunity about range of where an ideal position is for the stone. And so that should have been, and hopefully would have been, a conversation for Spencer that rock could have actually come deep, set up a rock along the side of the 4 foot, which they've